Nashville side today?
Your team's ability to close this out. I mean, it's probably felt almost like a Game 7 for your group. You don't want to get in that plane. Where does that come from? Very similar to Game 7 against Nashville.
Yeah. Well, first off, hats off to St. Louis and the fight they put up and how hard they made us work for this series. I mean, it was, I know I joked about, and Hitch and I went back and forth about adjustments and things, but, he made us work for everything we got this series, and their team played right to the buzzer tonight, and, they had an exceptional season considering the injuries and stuff they had. So hats off to them. As far as our group, yeah, we didn't want to go to Game 7. I think we recognized how dangerous a team they are. And, I think history has proven that you want to finish these series as quickly as possible and get as much rest as possible. And I think we mission accomplished.
Joel Ward had mentioned how you were kind of part of the sell job to get him to San Jose. What did you like in his game? And it seems like he's been every bit the clutch guy that has kind of been in his past.
Well, I'm a big believer that if you're a clutch playoff performer, that's something that's a gift, and that doesn't go away. I had Mike Richards. He was that type of guy. I've had different guys over the years that have had that ability, and that's not a flash in the pan. That's something that consistently they have the ability to rise to the occasion this time of year, and the playoffs fit him. He's a big, heavy guy. I mean, I don't think it was any secret this roster here, considering LA and considering Anaheim, considering St. Louis, we had to get bigger, heavier, harder to play against so that we could play this time of year. And everybody that Doug brought in had some of those type of characteristics.
Yeah, Coach, could you put into words what this has meant to the veterans like Joe and Patty and that whole group that has been through so much for so many years?
I can't put it into words because I can't imagine. I can't imagine, because all I've seen them is the year I've spent with them and how hard these guys work every day, how committed they are, how badly they want to win. And I don't think that's changed over the last 10 years. I just think for whatever reason it hasn't come together. And so I can't imagine, the crap written about them and said about them, that they've had to deal with. And it's a great night for those guys. I also told the group that I've been this far once before, and as great a night as this is, if you don't win the next round, it's still not a great summer. So I think we'll enjoy this tonight, and our focus will turn to the big prize on Friday.
Pete, when you took this job a year ago, the team was coming off a pretty down season. What was it about what was here that made you believe that this could happen so quickly?
Well, they're coming off a down season, but they're coming off a decade of great hockey. They'd been well coached. Todd McClellan and the previous staff, as good as there are in the business, and these guys had a great foundation. Right place, right time. I think everyone was ready for something a little bit fresher and newer. Not anything that much different, but that and the additions Doug made, it just came together. I inherited a similar team in New Jersey when I went in there. Same type of thing. They'd missed the playoffs for the first time in a long time the year before I got there, and I think when you go into that situation, when you have really good people, like there was in New Jersey when I went in there, like there was with this group, they're pissed off, they're embarrassed by the year they just had, and they're willing to do and buy into whatever you're selling, to get it fixed again. And I think I was the benefactor of that.
Pete, looking at this game and maybe similarly Game 7 of the Nashville series, do you have to give these guys a message or anything before the game, or is it just sort of an internal, drive that comes from the leadership to have these pretty dominant performances.
Yeah. No, there's no magic speeches. I mean, we talk about all the traditional things, but I think I've used the word battle tested. This group has seen every situation over the last decade. The core group, they know how important a closeout game is. They've won them, they've lost them. So you don't have to say a whole lot. Okay.